Did you snag your tickets yet for Launchpreneur Academy Live? If not, the final day to grab yours is November 7th at midnight. After that, no more tickets. No buying ticks at the door or last-minute DMs asking Brian to do you a favor. The event, as you know, is Saturday, November 12th in Novi, Michigan. Your job is to pause the podcast right now. Head on over to launchpreneuracademy.com and secure your seats. Again, no more ticket sales after November 7th. Now, on with the show.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no-nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here, hanging with you guys. Today, we are going to be talking about making big money in leaf cleanups. All right, this is one of the topics that I have been getting asked the most, which makes sense this time of year as well. If you guys are listening in real time, we're headed into the fall season. There is a lot of opportunity to make money in leaves, a lot of opportunity to have that last haul of revenue. Of course, you can do snow prepay, Christmas lights, burlap, aeration overseeds. There's fall prunings and cutbacks, last minute landscape installations. So many things you guys can do to make money. But of course, the main big one here is doing leaf cleanups. And so I wrote down a couple notes here that I wanted to just share with you guys, talking about making quote unquote big money with leaf cleanups, what we're charging, some equipment you can invest in to get started in leaf cleanups if you aren't already. And then you can, of course, build your equipment repertoire as your company continues to grow, continues to reinvest, which, by the way, quick tip, one of the number one questions I get from young guys in business, and by the way, that doesn't mean people that have been in business for, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, or they're 17 or 19. They could be 30 years old, but young in business, the first couple seasons in business even, here's my biggest thing. Their number one question is, what's the best way for me to grow my business, or what's the biggest tip you have? And number one answer and reply I always have is reinvest. Reinvest as much as you can for as long as you can. Don't pull profits out of the company. Keep reinvesting in the business. Well, there's going to be a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about that you can reinvest into the business to make more money with leaf cleanups. Leaf cleanups for us are big money. There's another $7,000, $10,000, $15,000 easily left, not left on the table, but on the table for us to make, usually by Thanksgiving timeframe. And then even after that, there's always an opportunity to advertise, put out yard signs, postcards, flyers, last minute newsletter emails to our client list, the core client list that we do mowing for, the other 300-400 clients outside of our regular 100 clients, so 400 or 500 clients in total, to say, hey, maybe we do a one-off service for you, but we're also available to do leaf cleanups, curbside leaf sucking up of the leaves. Maybe the city's done picking them up. If you have maybe a township or a city that picks them up curbside, which is pretty popular. But also, if not, you guys can bring your whole rig and suck them all up. A lot of money to be made there. So that's what I want to do on today's podcast. It's funny, I talked about this, maybe a little tease about a week and a half ago. I said 7 ways to make more money doing leaf cleanups. Well, I was already running this thought through my brain, jotting down a couple notes here on my phone just to kind of make sure I don't leave anything out, if you will. You only get 1 or 2 times a year to put an episode out like this for this topic. And so I want to make sure I do a pretty decent job for you guys, and we'll kind of hit it here in the next few minutes. A couple quick notes, just housekeeping things. Number one, Launchpreneur Academy live tickets are selling really, really well. We're just at about 300 people. Thank you so much to you guys that are getting your ticket. That event is coming up in Novi, Michigan, November 12th, Saturday. Cannot wait to have you guys up here. Been talking to the LMN folks with Mark Bradley and all of his folks. Talked to Nick Carlson. Been talking to Troy Clogg. Everybody's geared up. They're getting ready. They're shadow boxing in the hallway, right? Getting ready for their big debut. And we cannot wait to have all those guys pour into you in our live event here in Novi, Michigan, November 12th, Saturday. One other thing was just letting a couple of people know that the backup hotel has sold out. The backup hotel is sold out. We're on the literally the fourth hotel. So if you get your ticket at LAL, fear not, we've got rooms for you. You will get the updated link in the email description. And then also if you're added to the Facebook group, if you want to check that out, we have a private Facebook group for LAL ticket people only. We have the link in there as well. So we got rooms for you. We're selling out hotels all around town, which is wild. So no worries. We'll get you a spot around town. You'll be fine. But we really, really, really can't wait to have you guys up, and really, really, really can't wait to see you here November 12th, Saturday. One of the quick things, thank you so much to you guys that have been showing love on the YouTube channel. If you guys haven't came on over, subscribe, check things out, watch the video in a while. We dropped probably 20 pieces of content from Equip Expo. We did a mega vlog update. We did videos from Mulchmate, Steel. Who else did we do? Xmark, a bunch of YouTube shorts, just kind of showing latest and greatest, Kawasaki. So if you guys haven't swung by and watched the YouTube channel in a minute, come check that stuff out. Also, if you guys want to go down the rabbit hole of a couple more things, learning about spring and fall cleanups, we have a great resource training program called How to Get Started with Spring and Fall Cleanups at launchpreneuracademy.com. It's $49. Super nominally priced. We're going to go into the weeds here on this podcast. But if you really, really want to get the details and how to actually perform one, you can check out that training program at launchpreneuracademy.com. It's pretty straightforward and pretty simple service, as you can imagine, but there's a lot of little tips and nuances in there. We cover equipment, pricing, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Learn a new skill set, and you can add that to your business repertoire and make a bunch more money with your company for the rest of your career, if you will, which is pretty cool. So any which way, let's do this really quick. We're going to keep the episode short and sweet today. We're going to hear from today's show sponsor, show announcements, and then we're going to talk about how to make big money in leaf cleanups. Hang tight.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to shovel. I don't even have a snow blower. Nobody to plow me. Oh my God, and the neighbors suck. They don't help. Oh my God, what am I gonna do?
Do you want to keep the cash flowing this winter? Head over to launchpreneuracademy.com and check out all of Brian Fullerton's new courses and powerful resources to get you cashing in on that white gold through plowing snow. The Snow Plowing Training Course is easy to understand, and you'll learn what it takes to do the job effectively and how to bid, price, and estimate snow plowing for both residential and commercial properties. LaunchpreneurAcademy.com has 3 new resources to take the hassle and guesswork out of securing your snow removal jobs, plus there's eye-catching marketing materials that can help you secure new clients quickly. Ready to crush the snow game this year? Visit LaunchpreneurAcademy.com or use the link in the podcast description.
All right, fam, let's jump right back into it, talking about making some money with leaf cleanups. Now, really quick, leaf cleanups, there's a lot of money to be made. So don't just hit, to a different, track on the different podcast or a different show, if you will. Hang with me for just a few minutes. Maybe some of this stuff might be review, or we'll rehash it for some of you guys that have been doing this for a minute. But hey, I got a rule. Anytime I start a piece of content, YouTube video, podcast, or even a physical book, I have a rule. I finish it the whole way through, just because you never know if you're going to get a quick little tip somewhere along the way that's going to help. Just that 1 degree, that 1%. Sometimes once you get the big stuff figured out, you're just looking for the small stuff. And those little details can make all the difference, as we all know. So we're going to kind of talk some numbers here and go into some of the details. But leaf cleanups, just to kind of zoom out really quick, was a great opportunity for my wife and I with our lawn and landscape company to really add some great revenue, both spring and fall. One thing I want to do before we just jump down the rabbit hole here and talk about leaf cleanup prices and equipment and all that stuff is to talk about the fact that how much leaf cleanups have really helped us to expand service and to expand our revenue for our company, both in the spring and the fall. For example, in the spring, it's given us an extra 3 or 4 weeks of revenue creation. Same thing in the fall, another 3 or 4 weeks of revenue creation. And so here's the reality. Let's say you have a 26, 28, 29 week season and you're out there cutting grass for 6.5 months, or maybe 7 months. This gives you the opportunity to expand the season 3 weeks or 4 weeks in the spring, 3 or 4 weeks extra in the fall, and now you have a 8 or 9 month long season. So if you have a 10 grand month mowing grass, 10 months, 10 grand, 10 grand, 10 grand, 10 grand, and then you're able to do another I don't know, 5, 7, 10 grand in the spring, 5, 7, 10 grand in the fall, that's some serious money. If you're already doing 60,000, part-time or full-time with your business in those 6 months of cutting grass, well, now you're able to add, let's say, another 7 grand and 7 grand, that's 14, let's just say 15,000 into that 60,000. You just grew your business another, 15 to 20%. Okay, that's huge. That's huge. So the simple matter of having a Catch Pro or a accelerator bagger or a powered bagger or powered leaf vacuum, if you will, the turbines, the Billy Goats, the Toro Multiforces, all these different tools and pieces of equipment, it can really start adding up to big money. And by the way, if you go all in, if you're going with the big setups like some of the big guys that have these dump trucks and the 37 horsepower Billy Goat debris loaders with the dump trailers and Hurricane Z3000s, those big stand-on leaf blowers, you can make some really good money with spring and fall cleanups and leaves and keeping your guys moving for an extra month, spring and fall, which is huge. And that, by the way, gets us to trying to have that year-round revenue that so many of us are looking for. And of course, what bridges the gap for most of us in the Midwest and the Northeast, even if you go Northwest, is snow. But even for you guys down south, imagine you have a 7, 8, 9 month mowing season. This might give you the opportunity of bridging the gap in maybe November, December, and maybe even late February going into March, and being able to shorten that season from having 3 months of, quote unquote, laying your guys off to maybe just 6 weeks or 8 weeks, right? Every extra week helps, especially when you guys are down south, just trying to figure out, what to do to bring revenue in if you can't necessarily do snow removal or even just, lay in salt if you guys get those occasional snowstorms, ice storms, right? So number one is consider leaf cleanups adding to your service repertoire. We're always talking about you don't need hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of new clients to grow your lawn and landscaping business. Sometimes all you have to do is just go horizontal and just add 1 or 2 new services, right? You can add aerations, you can have overseeding, you can add mulching. Adding those extra couple of services will really, really, really help you with bringing in some more income. All right, so one thing I want to do is jump into the technical here for just a quick second is to talk about pricing, because I think that is one of the number one questions that I have been receiving, rightfully so, right? Like, how much do we charge for this stuff? Because one thing is that a lot of you guys are probably noticing how expensive some of the equipment is to offer for spring and fall cleanups, which is pretty funny, right? So here's what I want to do is just kind of roll down a couple quick tips, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 takeaways that I want to finish up this podcast with. Just some quick, helpful tips if you guys are doing spring cleanups, whether you've done it for 1 time or 100 times, okay? So the one thing I want to start with was pricing. Where we're at this year for fall cleanup pricing. This hasn't really changed that much since last year. I probably could go up a little bit on this, but to be honest with you, leaf cleanup, it's not a totally essential service, although it's kind of an essential service. People are willing to pay money for it, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like you don't want to scare people away with the economy the way it is. Maybe people are cutting back a little bit. So I haven't really adjusted my leaf cleanup pricing that much. Where I'm at right now is $175 an hour for a 2-man team. Okay, so that gets you the whole rig. For us, that's the leaf box, the debris loader, the truck, the trailer with the mower, with the vacuum. That's a lot of overhead zipping around town, right? Done right, it's probably $100,000. If you add it all up, probably more like $100, $120,000. But if right now we can get $175 per 2-man team, right? So a 2-man crew, I'm pretty happy with that. And so usually a leaf cleanup for us takes about 1.5 hours to 2 hours to do. So most of our leaf cleanups are about $249 to $399 for a simple subdivision lawn, 2 maple trees or little Bradford pears there on the boulevard, maybe 1 tree in the backyard, nothing fancy. Now, some of you guys have country lawns and bigger properties and bigger trees, and we'll get into that here in a minute. It's still a pretty fair rate, but of course, as you guys haul more away, you're going to be charging more money. One quick tip I have here is if you have more people on the site with you, maybe you guys have 3 guys or 4 guys, right? Make sure that you're charging appropriately for those extra guys. An extra $50 per guy at a minimum, your per man hour rate. Most folks need to be north of about $75 for every extra guy that you have on site. So it might be $175 for a 2-man team, $250 for a 3-man team, $325 for a 4-man team. Now, of course, you'll be able to work faster, but it's the same amount of money, the same amount of revenue production, okay? Another quick thing I want to talk about was just ranges as well while we're here. I do not necessarily do a leaf cleanup for a certain factored price. Now, we do for commercial because it's an approved contract. It's an approved budget item. If you do a leaf cleanup at a car dealership for, $950, and then you go back and say, hey, it's going to be 13 and a quarter. Although it's not a ton of money extra, that dealer is not going to be happy with you. That machine shop, that strip mall is not going to be happy with you. That HOA that you just went up by price by 30% just because you didn't factor it in correctly. Like, that's on you. Because imagine this, if they have 100 different vendors that they use throughout the year that all charge 30% more money, it would be that would be out of business. That business probably wouldn't be profitable, right? It's just kind of common sense. But residential properties, it's okay to give ranges unless you've done the site once or twice or 5 times before. But you're in a subdivision. You did 3 other sites in here. They're all $349. Took you an hour and a half. And somebody else walks up and says, "Hey, we want to leave cleanup." It's a very similar property and style and size. It's okay to say, "Hey, most homes in this subdivision are between $249 and $349. Does that work for you?" They say, sure. You say, hey, we'd like to give a fair price. And then, of course, they're probably going to be somewhere in the middle, 3 and a quarter, okay? By the way, if you want to get towards that higher end number, start your lower number higher, right? So instead of saying $249 to $349, say, hey, most of our properties in here are between $299 and $475. Well, then it's okay if you charge them $375. Okay, they'll understand that. But leaves are one of those things too, where you got to communicate your pricing up front a little bit, because it's one of the only services that you get some pushback sometimes, where you do a leaf cleanup and then you tell the customer, hey, that's $450, and they're like, whoa, I thought this was going to be $100 or $125. Like, I don't know where people get across trying to hustle like that and stiff you guys and myself with leaf cleanups. It's like one of the services that I found people push back the most. So just make sure that you're really communicating up front what this is going to cost, what's included, what's not included. By the way, I got bit once on a property. This was a decade ago. I'm like, we'll prune the front beds, and we'll do the leaf cleanup on the property, blow the beds out, do the leaf cleanup on the property. He's like, awesome. And I charged him, I don't know, $250, whatever it was. This is a decade ago. It probably should have been $350. You guys get it, right? And for us, most of our leaf cleanups include not free, but included in that, I should say, is the pruning and the cutbacks of those tall grasses, the pampas grasses or whatever, the hostas sometimes, maybe the daylilies, right? The simple grab stuff, the annuals, like the flowers that are just in the 1 or 2 parts of the landscape bed. That stuff that will include part of our leaf cleanup. Let's say it's $349 in and out in an hour and a half. Well, one time I did a fall cleanup. And I said, we're going to do some of the pruning in the front. And the guy said, awesome. We get done. He comes out and says, well, you guys didn't even touch the shrubs or the bushes or this big tree that he had up front. I don't know if it's a cherry tree. I don't know anything about trees or horticulture, okay? And it was one of those really thick trees that had a bunch of sticks, bunch of stemmy like branches. And this thing was like, it looked like something out of a Halloween, photo, just really a bunch of, I don't even know what it was. It was just really a lot of thinning out had to get pruned up. And it was tall. It was, I don't know, 10, 12 feet tall. You definitely needed one of those hand pruning tools, like from steel or whatever, right? So anyway, he comes out and goes, well, you didn't touch the shrubs. You didn't touch the tree. And I go, well, that's pruning. That's extra. He said, your pruning is included. I said, no. And this was a decade ago. I didn't have the people skills I have today, and didn't know how to diffuse the situation like I would have today. But I said, no, sir, that's just the pruning of the hostas, the daylilies, little simple grab stuff. He goes, no, you said pruning the shrubs and the tree. And I'm like, bro, there's like $300 extra worth of work here easily. Like, that tree's probably $300. And so, any which way, I can't exactly remember what happened, but I do know that I had a landscaper buddy come over. He pruned the tree for me for $125. And so I definitely did not make money on that job. I wanted to keep the customer happy. Today, I would have told him, dude, first off, I would have communicated clearly. But number 2, if I would have got stuck in that kind of a situation, I would have told him, no, we can do it. It'll be X and X amount more money, but there's no way that pruning of the shrubbery or trees would ever be involved in a spring or fall cleanup. So that's my point, is just really quick, don't get burned on that kind of stuff, because customers will pull you over the barrel if they can, and you do not want to get caught with your pants down pruning somebody's hedges or boxwood, spirea, all these different shrubs. If you can help it. If you're already there and you want to do it, that's fine. Just make sure you charge for it. But stop giving this stuff away for free. Don't give it away for free. Don't give it away for pennies. Don't say, hey, for an extra $50 or $75, we can knock this stuff down or print it down. Charge $125, $200, $300 minimum to clean this stuff up, even if it takes you an hour, hour and a half, okay? Because you're doing them a lot of service by printing it correctly, and then number two, saving them time, because they probably don't have the time or the tools to do it, okay? Let me see what else I got here. So ranges, that was just a quick tip. Another quick tip, base cleanup rate. So we have like a drop ramp gate fee, right? Most of you guys do as well. You won't touch a property for $40 or $45 or $50 minimum. Love it. I think that's a great way to create a standard and a price precedent for your business. Similarly, have one for your leaf cleanup. Hey, we don't do any leaf cleanup for less than $199. And that could just be simply mowing and vacuuming up the lawn, or mulching the clippings into the lawn, or whatever you guys do, right? I think we have a video dropping Wednesday or Thursday talking about how we charge for leaf cleanups. And I did a YouTube version of this. And then I did a video mulching versus shoe blocker. So great video if you want to check that out. It was a short and sweet one. It's like 8 minutes comparing the two. So really quick though, base cleanup, right? If somebody says they're across the street and they say, hey, would you guys do mine? You're already here. We don't have as much as them. I already vacuumed up the beds or raked the beds. We just need a quick tidy up on the lawn. Hey, no problem. $199. Don't go vacuum that thing for $75 or $100. You're never going to be able to get that customer price point up in the future with that price precedent. You're giving away the service. I know you're like, dude, it takes 5 extra minutes and it's an extra $100. Right, but dude, you have a $4,000 bagger, the little $25 belts that connect on the double stack pulleys, labor, fuel, power washing your equipment at the end of the day so there's no leaf fires, right? Your trailer, your truck, your dump insert. Dude, your overhead is entirely different. Don't give it away for free. Well, Brian, that's why I'm just going to do it for a quick $100 to help offset that overhead. Dude, don't give it away for free, because then what's that neighbor going to do? Tell their next 3 neighbors, oh no, they did mine for $100. And instead of getting all these neighbors now for $400, you just did a quick mow and blow, or mow and vac, or whatever you want to call that. And you could have sucked it all up for $300-$400, and you're just giving it away for free. So have a base cleanup fee, $199 maybe is a minimum. That would be a helpful suggestion. Okay. Talking about pricing, I'm just going through a list here. Some things that might help you guys out for a quick hop, skip, and a jump is for us, and I don't have this like perfectly dialed in just yet, but I'm just going to talk out loud. I put $30 per yard hauled away. So for us personally, we have our dump insert. It's 5 cubic yards. We have the debris loader. So we're mowing up the lawn, reducing the leaves, vacuuming up the leaves, reducing it again. It's going into the dump insert, right? We get charged, just like probably you guys do as well, for every extra yard of leaves that we take to the dump. And by the way, we have a dump minimum. I think it's like $35 or $45. And that's whether you have 1 yard or 3 yards or 5 yards. By the way, you take a dump trailer there, or you take a bigger piece of a dump trailer or a dump truck, they're going to be charging you. Let's say you get 20 yards and it's $5, $10, $20 per yard. I'm telling you what, that can add up really quick. We did a 25-yard dump trailer one time. We took it over to the dump place. It was like $400. And I was like, ooh, like that stung. We did not price accordingly for that. So here's the deal. You got your base leaf cleanup rate of $175 for you and a guy. You're doing all the work. Then you end up hauling away. Let's say it takes you an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's, $350, $400 leaf cleanup. Awesome. You price that correctly. But then you get done, and let's say your buddy's helping out. He's got his dump trailer with his billy goat. Fantastic. A lot of people team up. We do. I team up with a lot of buddies. And then you haul away like 9 yards of leaves, right? So you're like, dude, we just hauled butt. We kicked butt. We're at this leaf cleanup. Got it in by dusk. $425, right? But then you have 8 yards of leaves that you suck up with the billy goat. And then you have to go dump this stuff, and the place charges you $10 or $20 or $30 per yard. think about that. You just lost an extra, I don't know. I mean, even if it's $5 a yard times 8, that's $40. That's $50 plus gas plus time. Let's say they charge you $10 per yard. You just lost $80 right off the top. So quick tip, this is something that would have saved me or made me a lot of money over the last 10, 15 years, is make sure that you guys are charging extra for all the yards of leaves that you're sucking off the property. Bake it into your price, or just tell the customer, hey, it's $249 to $425 for the leaf cleanup plus $30 per yard of material we take away. And that's usually about 4 extra yards of leaves, $120. Hey, so your leaf cleanup's probably going to be $575. Whatever that is, just communicate. Okay, just communicate, just let the customer know, because everybody's going to charge them the same thing, or the city's going to take it away for free. However, they're going to have all those leaves blowing in their yard, so it's not super convenient. Hey, you can make this problem disappear right now for $525, okay? Just a quick tip. Hauling material away is not cheap. It's not free. It's not easy. You're providing a service. Let's say it's $10 or $20 per yard for the site to take it, your local dump, organic dump place or waste material place. Charge a 1.5x, a 2x. Come up with a number that just bakes that cost into what you're doing, or you're charging separately for that as a line item or whatever you want to call it, okay? Just be cognizant of that, because it's not cheap. When I took this dump trailer, this was like 2-3 years ago, I was like, dang, dude, like I did this cleanup. We totally underbid it. Should have been like $2,500. We did it for $1,500. My buddies came, they sucked it up. You guys saw a video on it. It was the worst leaf cleanup I've ever done, was the title of the video. and it kind of was. We sucked up 30, almost 40 yards of leaves, because we had my dump insert, another buddy's dump insert, then the dump trailer. And the guys were like, hey, we just got dumped for the dump fees. I'm like, cool, I'll take care of that plus pay you. How much was the dump fees? He's like, dude, $425. I went, $425. Did not expect that. All right, real quick. I talked about pruning and cutbacks, $125 an hour for that stuff at a minimum. Like the hostas and daylilies and the simple stuff like that, stuff you can just grab and go. We include that in the price. But anything extra, $125 plus per hour. Talked about dump fees. And one other quick tip here: weekly leaf cleanup or weekly mulching or weekly shoot blocker discharging, mincing it into the grass. I get that question a lot. I think it's a huge opportunity to upsell through October and November for some of you guys that have a couple extra weeks of mowing through Halloween or the first couple of weeks of November. Try to get a 2 or 3x multiple of your weekly mow price if you're going to be doing weekly leaf cleanup. Just throwing it out there. You can get more technical if you want to like really dial in your numbers and look at all your overhead costs associated with that. I think a really good rule of thumb is if you have a weekly mow price for $50, hey, we'll suck up the leaves, mulch the leaves, mince the leaves, bag the leaves, whatever it is you guys do. If you have your baggers on already, we will be able to do a weekly lawn cleanup for 2x the weekly mow price. So if it's a $50 mow, do it for $100. And by the way, let's say you do that for the last 2 weeks of October. And then the first week of November, let's just say you're a little bit more south of Michigan, maybe Ohio, and below. Well, if you have 100 weekly clients at $50, what is that, $5,000 a week, and you just charge a double premium, right, to suck up the leaves or vacuum that up, you can take a $5,000 revenue week to $10,000 just like that. Okay, there's a little bit more overhead with the bagger, the leaves, the this, the that, the labor. Not much more effort, to be honest with you. You're already there. But it's a great way to double your revenue. Or even if you got a 20 or 30% premium on that weekly mow price to suck that stuff up and the customers are willing to pay, let's just say it's an extra $1,000, $2,000 that you're leaving on the table. I know we are for sure. If I shot an email right now to the 85 or so residentials that we do and said, hey, we'll do a weekly mow cleanup, leaf cleanup for an extra 50%. So if the $40 cut for $60 for an extra $20, I'm pretty sure every customer would say yes. It probably wouldn't take us that much of effort, okay? So the reason I want to talk about this is just low-hanging fruit for extra money on the table for answering the biggest question that I talked about at the beginning of the show. Brian, how do I make money last minute going into fall, winter to store my nuts for winter, all right? There's a lot of money in leaves. These are just some quick suggestions and tips. 5 quick takeaways, and then we'll button this thing up. Number 1, everything you do, just get paid for it. Don't do leaves for free. Don't be mulching them up, mincing them up, discharging them, whatever, for free, okay? It takes time. It takes money, fuel. None of this stuff is cheap or free. in the spring and fall cleanup game. Number 2, I put don't give it away for free. I thought that was number 1. Get paid for it. All right, well, excellence in broadcasting. Let's keep going. Here's a quick tip. It's better to walk away than to get buried in a leaf cleanup job. All right, so I'm getting a couple amens out there. I can hear you guys. There's so many leaf cleanup jobs I should have said no to or walked away from or charged 2 to 3x on. I have found personally, and this is kind of a next tip that I just wrote here, that the bigger money is in the smaller leaf cleanup jobs. I'm sure I'm getting a couple amens out there. I know you guys have like 5-acre commercial sites and the HOAs and the apartment complexes and the industrial tech drives, and they'll let you do a leaf cleanup. Usually, this has just been my experience too, usually you will not get paid top dollar for a leaf cleanup for the bigger sites. Usually you need the more productive machines to make money with that stuff. You need a couple mowers with a couple baggers, maybe a stand-on leaf blower like a Billy Goat P2K or above, maybe a Skag Windstorm, right? Whatever. Pick your brand. But what I have personally noticed is that the HOAs that we have, it might be a $350 weekly mow. You might get a $750 leaf cleanup for the whole site. Okay, or $1,000, or maybe $1,200. Very rarely have I seen a leaf cleanup for $5,000, which is what it should be to actually maximize your profitability. Okay, so my point is, you still got to do the HOAs, you still got to do the commercial sites and your strip malls and all this other mess. But for the smaller HOA subdivision homes and your smaller residential properties, usually the stuff that you can charge $249 to $575. I've personally noticed, and again, if you got suggestions or comments, shoot me an Instagram message. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. For real, it's a two-way street here. I'm learning every single day. But from what I've noticed, and then a bunch of messages that I got last year and the year before in the fall time, it seems like a lot of people were making more money with the smaller sites versus the 1 acre, 2 acre sites with the 8 oak trees and the huge leaf pile mound that you guys see curbside. We've all done it. You guys have done it. I've done it. Then your buddy comes with a dump trailer and he's got the high sides and he's sucking away 25 yards and blah, blah, blah. Usually you're still getting $550 for those kind of leaf cleanups. Oh no, Brian, I get $1,200. Okay, dude, for real, like straight up. If you get $1,200, more power to you. Like I got you, like bro fist, right? I have just noticed that most of the time, it looks cool on Instagram, looks cool on TikTok, looks cool on YouTube, looks cool on your Facebook post. I have noticed that most people are not charging appropriately for those size leaf cleanups. And it's tough. How do you tell a customer, hey, we'll clean up your 2 acres, but it's going to be $1,500? That's like the size of their mortgage, okay, for just a leaf cleanup. And then 2 weeks later, the wind's going to blow with another cold, wet, rainy, nasty windstorm that's going to come through and knock down another third of the leaves off the trees. It's a possibility. It's a reality. Are they going to pay $1,500 and then 2 weeks later see 30% of that crap back on their property? I don't know. If you got a wealthy client, dude, heck yeah. They might want that service. They might want the property looking immaculate for November and the holidays and December. I get that. That's awesome. Hey, we can come out and do multiple leaf cleanups. You know, let your customers know. You might do the first leaf cleanup for $475. Second week of November, third week of November, you guys are done doing leaf cleanups. Let them know, hey, second week of December, there's a 40-degree warm snap, if you will. I know some people down south, but that's warm. But you guys in the Midwest know what I'm talking about. You might get a 40, 50-degree temperature day or week, I should say. Email all your customers, hey, we're doing a light leaf cleanup, L-I-T, a light leaf cleanup. We've already blown out the beds and all that mess, but we could re-vacuum up the lawn, just do a vac and go. $125, $175, right? Just that one-time, really quick leaf cleanup, tidy up job. And maybe you get 8 or 10 people that sign up for that out of your 100 customers. Dude, that's $1,500. That's $2,000 that you're just going to leave on the table that you can do that in a day or two on 2, 50-degree warm snap days that come through late November, first part of December, right? By the way, if you're keeping your guys on payroll and you're paying them $500, $800, $700 a week, $1,000 a week, that's a good way to take care of half of the months of payroll in 2 labor days, 2 days of labor with 2 days of doing leaf cleanups. It's not all direct profit or, what I'm saying. You guys know what I'm saying. But nonetheless, we take advantage of that stuff all the time. I tell Rob, like, hey, dude, if we get a 48-degree day and the sun's out and the frost burns off at 9 a.m., we are passing out flyers that 48 hours before, emailing our customers that week before, hey, last call for leaf cleanups, $149, $175, leaf vac only, yard only, front and side only, back and side, whatever, only, leaf and mow and suck up, and we're out of there. Dude, we get 6, 7, 8 people all the time that sign up for that. And you can make legit $1,200 in a 7-hour window doing 6 sites for $175, $149. Just a quick tip out there. We started doing that, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago when I got my leaf vac, 2016 timeframe. And you know what? $1,200 in the second week of November or first week of December when there's nothing really going on, right? You're waiting for snow. The week after, it's going to be back in 17-degree territory, around Christmas, usually pretty typical in the Midwest. But you're like, dude, we're just kind of bleeding it out. First couple weeks of December, not a lot of revenue coming in. Hey, gear up, load up, send out those emails, send out those newsletters. Get your guy to go pass out, 800 postcards in 3 different subdivisions. Go put out 5 yard signs that you get from UZ Marketing and put those things out, or go suck up a bunch of leaves curbside. Dude, you can make $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 in just a couple of days. That does help a lot to at least maybe just cover some of the payroll costs that you guys have to keep these guys on until the white gold starts to fall. All right, just some helpful tips. Take it or leave it. Just some quick tips there. Often multiple cleanups on the sites. Smaller sites are better. Yeah, I just want to rehash that. I did that with a buddy 4 years ago. It was logical, right? Well, if we're making $275 or $349 on a small site, 4,000 square foot lawn, in and out, hour and a half. Well, let's just plant it at a big 2-acre site that's got 10 oak trees, and we'll suck up this stuff all day. Well, we came to find out that people weren't really interested in paying more than $400 or $500 for that stuff. They're like, it's just leaves, and we're like, yeah, dude, but we just sucked up 10 yards of leaves. It took us 4.5 hours. Yeah, we don't really care. It's worth like $400 to us. We're like, dang it. So we got shot in the foot a bunch. I remember this vividly about 3 or 4 years ago. And I told my guys, I'm like, we're sticking to small properties. If we can't do it in 2 hours or less, we're not geared up for that. It's just not going to happen. One other quick tip, and we'll button this thing up, is pre-look at the site. Do a quick site investigation of whether or not this site makes sense for you guys to actually do a leaf cleanup. Usually most mowing clients, I kind of know, hey, we can do the site or not do the site, right? What I will tell you is for leaf cleanups, the magic word is no, outside of yes, right? If you go walk the back property, here's why. You can get screwed really quickly doing leaf cleanups. If you got all this powered equipment, baggers and blowers and guys and labor and debris loaders, and then you realize like the front looks pretty simple, right? You're like, yeah, this will be a banger. And then you realize or don't realize after doing half the leaf cleanup that there is a pool, a fence, a gated backyard, a pool with a dog area that's got a bunch of trees in it, and you can't get your equipment back there. You don't have catch pros. You don't have stand-on 36s to get back there. You're raking and tarping, and your productivity went from the mechanized, Mad Max war machine to we got to go rake and tarp and get leaf bags from Lowe's and Menards, and we don't have any, so we got to send a guy out to go get 10 leaf bags. Bro, I'm telling you, I don't care how many guys you have, how much mechanization you have, you just instantly did not make money on that job. You're like, oh, we just hauled butt and did the whole front in an hour and a half. Right. That customer's still expecting to have that whole backyard cleaned up for the same $4.25. You didn't look over the fence. You didn't walk the property. And you just realized, like, dude, what did we... And then you got 8 pampas grasses or the tall, like, cattail type grasses in the back around the pool for decoration and decorative grasses. You're like, oh, my God, what did we just get ourselves into? Dude, I've done this. I've done this a dozen times, probably multiple dozens sometimes, okay? So leaf cleanups are one of the things that I will 100% have no problem saying no to. We have limited time. We have limited capacity, limited good weather, especially in Michigan. Like anything after Thanksgiving is in the bonus round. Sometimes we get snow first part of November, and it's like, dude, the ground's frozen. But pool properties... people with slopes where I can't get a bagger with a mower with a bagger because it weighs too much and I can't get that mower down a slope. Well, I don't want it to go down a slope. I'm thinking no to those. I'm thinking no to anybody with a ledge, anybody that's got like the railroad tied like ledges, or retaining wall ledges. That stuff is a nope. That's what my wife and I say. That's a nope. Retaining walls, pools, anything that has a backyard property that has 5 other gated backyard properties with it, like 4 corners, everybody's got a fence. Dude, you start blowing those out, every customer gets pissed off at you because you're blowing out the fence line. Where does it all, even if it's the neighbor's leaves, where does it all need to go? Into your customer's property to vacuum up this stuff. So now you're sucking up yardage of extra leaves, jumping on other people's properties. They don't want you to jump over the fence. You break the fence. The dog's in the backyard. You jump over, you land in a pile of dog poo. I've done all of it. You have a neighbor that backs up to somebody with a pool. That's an instant no. You start blowing up that fence. Then the neighbor comes out that didn't winterize their pool yet because they're lazy, because that's what most people, our homeowners, typically are. And then they start saying, you blew all the leaves in my pool. Lady, your pool looks like a mud pit, a scum pit, like a swamp pit, okay? There's nothing that we did for that. I want all those leaves out of there. Dude, you get into an argument. Dude, people are, okay, here's the big thing. Say no and walk away with as much as you have to with leaf cleanups. It's not worth it. I'm all about the last haul, which is ironic, but it's not worth it to get into a yelling match about leaves. People turn into leaf Nazis. I'm telling you, I'm rubbing my face right now because I've had so many fights, fights to be, and I'm disarm, diffuse. Hey, we'll get it. Please chill out. Like, we're good. I'm not like going to go to war with any of these people. I'm trying to keep a good name in the community. But dude, I've had so many Rage Master customers come out. It's just not worth it. Okay. So walk the site before. If it's a new customer, walk the site. If it's a new customer, one other quick tip, ask them if they have any wells or fire hydrants, or the fire hydrant normally has that well with it, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. Leaf cleanup, it's hard to see the grass, right? So you don't really know what you're going to walk into or bang into. And you don't need to be going 8 miles an hour with your zero turn or your stand on and hitting some stupid well. So ask the customer, do you have any in-ground irrigation boxes, anything that sticks out? Dog leads, those corkscrew things. I ran over dog leads that have spun around the spindle. I've had to get wire cutters. Dude, the stupidest stuff, okay? So take your time, do your due diligence before you break into anybody new onto the route. It's okay to get that extra revenue. Just don't bury yourself getting in front of your skis and picking up a client that you had no business doing. All right, does that make sense? So anyway, that's what I got. I'm over and out. The wife is got dinner ready for me, so that is my cue. Big money in leaf cleanups, guys. There's 5, 10, 15 grand that we always haul into November. Super appreciate that leaf cleanup work. It's a great way to keep your customers happy too, and like I said, to really expand service. A couple extra weeks in the spring, couple extra weeks in the fall. Maybe you guys down south, keep you guys moving year round. I mean, or add an extra month or two to that, and maybe all you need is 1 month off in January, or 1 month off in February, and you're back to the races doing your spring cleanups. Okay, so anyway, that's what I got. Invoicing. One quick tip for invoicing: we do invoicing same day for leaf cleanups. It's no net 7, no net 14, no net 30. It's no net nothing. It's charge card on file. We do a leaf cleanup. We're getting paid for the leaf cleanup that day. Here's a quick tip. If I do a leaf cleanup and you don't have $425 in your bank account for the leaf cleanup, it's not my problem. Okay, I'm not doing the service. So we tell customers, quick thing up front, whether it's a regular or a new sign up, hey, payment is due when we're done. None of this net 7 stuff. I don't want you guys chasing leaf cleanup money. Here's a quick tip. Here's why I say this, right? Because I'm triggered. When that first snowflake falls, I don't care how good Jacques Cousteau, I don't know who Jacques Cousteau is, but I don't care if you're Warren Greshus, I don't care if you're Brian Tracy, I don't care if you're Grant Cardone, I don't care how good of a salesman you or your crew or your guy or your little cherub is, you are not getting your leaf money. Okay? Good luck catching up with your leaf money when the first round of snow falls, that first 2 to 3 inch snowfall. It's impossible. People have amnesia. Oh, you guys never did the leaves because it's buried. You can't tell. The snow fell, right? I'm telling you what, get your leaf money in. Do not give any, you do whatever you want. Commercial, you got to do net 30. Okay, I get it. Your residential, your resident, I get choked up. I got a little cold going on here if you guys can't tell. Your residential leaf cleanup, bill the same day. None of this net 7, net 14 crap. Oh, pay me when you get time. Nope. Hey, service is done. Charge card on file. Get your phone. Here's a quick tip. Let me ask you this. You do leaf cleanups. It's big money. Making $2,000 gross per day. Sounds pretty good, right? How cool would it be to every day walk home with $2,200 once you get home at 7 o'clock at night? You punch out your 10 invoices on Yardbook, charge card on file for a 4 1/4, 3 1/4, 375, 525, 275, 199, 199, a 275, and a 349. Okay, I'm telling you straight up, that sounds pretty good to me to come home with $2,200, charge card on file $2,200, and you have your money in for Black Friday to go shopping. Okay, that sounds good to me. Don't be extending a bunch of credit for your leaf cleanups, please. Once that first snowflake falls, good luck. Also, last quick tip, because I'm thinking about you guys. Every time you're done doing a leaf cleanup, take photos of the site. I want you to get into a new habit. Every time you're done with a leaf cleanup job, residential or commercial, you or your guys, teach this to your guys. I want you guys to take a photo, right? Because these customers, they have amnesia, and the next day the wind blows 1 degree or one mile an hour and 2,500 leaves fall. And they say, hey, where are you guys at? Oh, they were there all day yesterday. They did a banger job. We're going to bill for 4 1/4. No, you guys weren't here. Oh, yes, we were. No, you weren't. Yes, we were. No, you weren't. Yes, we were. Right? You don't have any proof. Take a photo of the property. It's going to look like carpet, like the greens of a golf course. Okay. Take a photo for proof. Have logs. Everybody's got a smartphone. It's no inconvenience. It's taking up no memory. I want you and your guys, use the Company Cam app. Use whatever app you guys use. Just take a photo of the property. It's got to be SOP, standard operating procedure. Take a photo of the property, front and back, left, right, HOAs, the ponds, the whatever you guys do, the backyard commons areas. If it's looking immaculate, snap a photo. That way, when you guys invoice and bill for that stuff, you can have proof that you were there and you did a banger job and left it immaculate. I'm telling you, this will save somebody out there hundreds of dollars and a lot of back and forth, and maybe thousands of dollars with some of you guys. Okay. All right, that's what I got. We could probably do this all day, but that's my short and sweet episode about making big money with leaf cleanups. If you guys want to share the podcast episode on Instagram or whatever social platforms you guys use, tag us, share it. We appreciate it. Let's get this out there in the community, help a bunch of us make some great money with leaf cleanups as we kind of button up this fall. So that's what I got for you guys in today's episode. Looking forward to catching up with all of you guys here on the next one.
Ready to charge up your business and take it to the next level? Well, plug in and join us for Launchpreneur Academy Live 2022. Don't miss this electrifying opportunity to hear from our top industry professionals. Get powered up in this high-energy atmosphere, learning trade industry knowledge and ways to level up your thinking. This high-energy teaching and networking event is full of motivational information, giveaways, and trade industry secrets. Take charge and register now for the industry's largest training event of the year, Launchpreneur Academy Live 2022.
All around, it's just a great experience.
I didn't realize how important that LAL is.
You get more than you spend at for a 4-year degree.
Man, I can't wait. This has been a great event, and I will definitely be back next year.
Take charge and register now.
Launchpreneur Academy Live is Saturday, November 12th in Novi, Michigan.
And we're going to get a little bit more detail. I want to help you guys grow larger companies, more crews, more profitable businesses, a little bit more X's and O's.
And the link to register is in the podcast description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.